If you've ever been interested in someone, then you know it's a lot like getting a song stuck in your mind. It's like you can't stop thinking about that person no matter how hard you try. And that's totally normal, by the way, and not necessarily a problem. It only becomes a problem when a person or an idea of finding the one becomes an obsession. You may be thinking, why is this a bad thing? It's not like I'm obsessed with stealing puppies or eating rocks. That would be a real problem. In fact, so much of the world around us tells us that we should be obsessed with someone. There are songs about it, movies make it seem so romantic, and almost make it an expectation that all picture-perfect relationships are ones where both people are obsessed with each other. So you might be asking, if having a relationship with someone or being interested in someone isn't a bad thing, then why are you making it sound like it is? There's nothing wrong with being excited about having someone in your life. But when everything else in your life seems to fade away because of a person, it's a problem. Here's a few reasons why. First one, you miss out. There's so much to do in high school that you'll potentially miss out on if you're obsessed with a relationship or the idea of a relationship. You'll miss out on chances to make memories with your friends or connect with your family and develop your talents. You may even miss out on chances to learn new things or serve others. In other words, being too focused on any one thing, whether it's a person, relationship, or hobby, is never a good idea because you'll miss out on other important things. 2, you alienate people in your life. Your friends do notice when they're no longer a priority. They feel the distance and separation, and eventually, that takes a toll on your friendships. And the third thing, you'll lose yourself. Tying up so much of your life in someone else can cause you to lose sight of who you are becoming. You might find yourself losing a sense of your identity or your uniqueness. You may find yourself only listening to music that they like, spending less time on your hobbies, not acting like yourself. Your high school years are a great opportunity for you to learn more about yourself, and if you're wrapped up in someone else, you might not get a sense of who you are apart from the person that you're in a relationship with or want a relationship with. So we're going back to the book of Proverbs today, the same book we looked at last week, to read something else that King Solomon, one of the most famous kings of Israel, wrote. And he says this: "If you find honey, just eat enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit." Now, some of you hear that and think, exactly. If I hear my friend say one more thing about her, I'm gonna vomit. Solomon nailed it. But the wisdom Solomon's trying to pass along here is different. It's all about the idea of moderation. He's basically saying that if you get too much of something, even good things, it has the potential to turn into a bad thing. So where's the line? When does it go from good to too much? In order to figure that out, we're going to look at another passage written by the Apostle Paul, who wrote a lot of the New Testament. He wrote a letter called Ephesians, and this is how Paul starts. "Be very careful, then, how you live, not as unwise, but as wise." So Paul is encouraging his audience. Pay attention to what you do and do your best to make the best and wisest choice. This principle can be applied to just about anything: your friendships, school schedule, time, your screen time habits, and it can go on and on. For the sake of today's conversation, here are some questions to ask yourself when it comes to dating. At what point does a healthy interest in someone or the idea of dating become an unwise obsession? And if that point is somewhere between being interested in someone and being obsessed with someone, where do I stand currently? Paul continues that verse by saying, "Making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil." Paul wants his readers to make the most of the time that we have on earth. When it comes to high school, these are some of the most unique years of your life. You will look back at these days and be surprised at how important your current friendships are and how memorable this time is in your life. When everyone is talking and reminiscing about high school, you don't want to say, "I missed that time with my friends because I was always with my girlfriend." Or, "It sounds like it was fun, but I remember being miserable a lot of the time because that person I crushed on was always dating someone else." You have a chance to make the most of these days by encouraging your friends, influencing people who are younger than you, and growing in so many areas of your life. Another person you are dating or obsessing over shouldn't hold you back from doing those things in your life. In other words, God has a plan for your life and specifically for your life in high school. The key is to pay attention to whether your obsession with someone you are dating or interested in is causing you to miss out on what your high school days can offer you. To summarize Paul's words in the context of dating, here's one way to think about it. To make the wisest choice with the time that you have, don't make anyone your everything. If someone you're dating has become your everything, if your dating life is holding you back from the rest of your life, it may be time to rethink some things. Here's what that looks like. First, if you're currently in a relationship, don't abandon the rest of the world around you. If we're going to be wise about our relationships, we have to live life in a way that prioritizes all of our important relationships. Don't ditch your friends. Don't abandon your family. Don't lose interest in the things that you used to enjoy. You were a whole person before this person came into your life. So don't lose the other parts of yourself because of him or her. Get back to the things that used to make your world. Get back to being you. Second, if you aren't dating anyone, stop thinking your life would be good unless you started dating. I get it. It can be difficult when you feel like everyone except you has a date to prom or someone to post cute photos with, but you don't need another person to make you a whole person or have a great high school experience. Go be you. Do things that you like to do. Hang out with people that you enjoy. If you meet someone along the way, great, but don't spend your high school years waiting around for that person to show up or for that crush to notice you. Third, trust God with the future of your relationships. This isn't something that we do one time and check off our list. Trusting God with our relationships means believing God has your best interests in mind. It means you can believe God is looking for a good person out there for you. It means trusting in the bigger picture than just your relationship status right here, right now. And four, ask someone you trust if you're truly obsessed. Talk to a small group leader, a friend who knows you well enough to have seen the difference, someone who will tell you the truth. And ask them if your obsession is an issue with your relationship or your relationship with God. And they'll be honest with you. And again, don't be hard on yourself if they say yes. It is easy to become obsessed with any number of things, but especially a person that we like. The thing to remember is that it isn't all about obsessions. We can make a change and we can live who we love to be. As you head out today, I want you to remember that I'm not saying don't date or don't have crushes, but I am saying don't miss out on your high school experiences because you're obsessed with dating. But don't miss the chance to figure out who you are because you're too consumed with a person. In other words, don't make anyone your everything. If you feel like that's you, then maybe you can pull aside a trusted adult and talk to them and ask for help. They'll help you get things back into perspective because just like Paul cared about people he wrote to, they care about you and they want you to have an incredible life that makes the most of the time that you have.